Hello, hello.
Hi V, how are you? Good to see you.
Doing great. Good to see you too. How you've been?
I've been good. We haven't had you here in a while, so we're really happy to have you back.
Yeah, thank you. It's always good to be here and to be sharing a bit of what's inside of my head to the world. So always an honor.
Amazing. Let's get started, guys. Welcome to Opportunity Your Future with your hosts Danna, Kahn, and Victor Ribeiro, where we take steps forward toward your goals. And today we will be discussing something that is very important to us at Approach, which is the topic is called From Approach to the World. But it really is talking about the ways in which we try to give back to our community, the community service efforts that we have at Approach, and the way we try to make the world a better place. And I think that Approach is very well known for that, but Victor has a heavy hand in all this help, so I'm going to let him get started and talk a bit about our free English conversation classes as our first effort.
Yes, that's right. And I like the one of the first things that comes to my mind, at least, or comes to our minds when we're talking about community service, providing back, giving back to our community, and all the things. It's of course the first thing is the free English conversation classes, which is a major initiative here by Approach, in which the name is self describes itself. How do I say, like, it's self explanatory. That's the right word. And what's so interesting is that it's pretty much just free English classes to students from all over the world. It's We have some teachers here at Approach, and that are usually, like, they teach online, they teach in person, and we leverage a bit of their times so we can provide these weekly classes to students that are able to connect, and that all happen through Zoom, right? And again, it's a free resource, and that's why it's so important to us, because there are all these people in the other side of the world that are trying to learn how to communicate better, trying to learn more about the American culture, and that's one of the ways that we can provide to these people. So I think that's one of the first things that comes to my mind in terms of, like, free resources and how much we've been giving back to our community, is the free English conversation classes, right?
I agree. I completely agree, V. And it's an initiative that we've been running for a while now, and we have seen that the interest for it keeps growing. It's really cool to see. For those who are interested in learning English for free, it's super accessible. You can find it at approachusa.org under the free English conversation class tab, which is at the top left. And it's super accessible, guys. Not only is it completely free, but it's done by art teachers, which are specialized in teaching ESL, giving their time to the students around the world who can't afford coming to the US and learning with us. So super important. Keep it in mind. We have around 500 in and out people coming in and out of the free English conversation classes, and we even have a WhatsApp group with a variety of students that are super interested. They send each other like different ways and words of saying something in English and different phrases every day, and they love to practice, which is super nice to see. So that um, that effort, it has an interesting storyline, right? Do you know why the free English conversation classes started in the first place?
I do know that it started over the pandemic. It was an effort to, when the pandemic first started, a lot of people had to move out of the United States. A lot of people had to, if you're teaching or learning in person, you had to be completely online. We all know how much that changed our lives. And as an effort to keep our teachers on payroll, and as an effort to keep on giving back, also as an effort to leverage from those from that time, as, like, it was a big push in, like, how we're using technology to learn and work together. So that was also an effort to adapt, and that's what I know, and that's what I remember of as, like, when we started the free English conversation classes, right? Did I miss anything?
No, that was pretty much it, guys. And so it started as everything that Victor said, right? So kind of like an effort to teachers on payroll during the pandemic, and which kind of snowballed into this huge initiative that is genuinely helping students all over the world to learn English. So it's a beautiful concept. We've actually Approach is well known for its community service, and because of it, especially because of the free English conversation classes, we actually won a community service award, a national community service award last year. It's called the Thomas Tilia Asset Community Service Award. of 2021. That's the one we won. And Victor and I were there to present it, and it was extremely fun, but also beautiful to see how much the efforts can be received. And we didn't even expect that, you know?
Yeah, it's that thing that like a lot of times, I mean, like we're both part of the marketing department, and a lot of people could just go and assume like, oh, you guys are just doing this to look good, but no, there's a genuine sense of care, and there's an actual a bigger goal and purpose into doing these things. It's like we put our hands in I mean, not us only, but everybody that is connected to this organization. We all have an idea of how opportunities, of course we all have to take advantages of the opportunities we have here, but we can all create opportunities as well, right? And a lot of times small things that we do here can be huge things in other people's lives in Africa, or in somewhere in the Middle East, or somewhere in Europe, you know. So it is truly interesting that this sense of togetherness can just, you know, be spread across the whole world, and become a way to speak to people, but as well as to educate them, and to be a part of their lives and impact their lives as well.
I completely agree, B. I completely agree. And on that note, I'll talk a bit about the different organizations we help as well, guys. If you like to see the all of this data or this website by yourself, you can go on to approachusa.org and then click on our community. But just for you guys to have like a bit of an idea, Approach provides support to 6 different organizations from completely different countries. We have helped fundraise over $1 million. We've donated over $200,000 to underserving communities and created life changing opportunities for over 10,000 students from all over the world. And that's just a bit of what Approach has been doing, right? So to get to know a bit about the communities that we serve, we have different organizations that our CEO works directly with, like Operation Underground Railroad, which is a nonprofit organization that its mission is to rescue children from like sex trafficking and sexual exploitation. Um, in that timeline of 2021, we had donated around $3,000 and helped fundraise over $1 million for that organization. The next organization that we are very much hand to hand with is American Foundation for the Blind, and this foundation helps people with vision loss, right? Of getting jobs, of just growing with blindness, and we have helped fundraise over $100,000 in that organization. The next one that I will point out is Flying High for Haiti. Flying High for Haiti is an organization that basically helps the Haitian community, especially after all the hurricanes that happened there, the Hurricane Matthews and whatnot. And we actually helped build 4 houses with Flying High for Haiti after Hurricane Matthews. Another one that we've been super intertwined with has been Marisi.org. So Marisi is this organization that helps eliminate like criminal networks, child sex trafficking, and all of that, you know. And we have donated over $10,000 to Marisi.org, and if I'm not mistaken, help fundraise a lot more than that. So it's a super beautiful organization that you should definitely check out. And the last one I will comment before we go into our actual like big organization is going to be the Urban Paw Pet Sanctuary. Somewhere in like 2020 to 2021, some of our employees decided that it would be nice to sell popcorn for $1, and then all the money that was recollected was sent out to a pet sanctuary in Brazil, and they built it. They built a whole pet sanctuary. They gave it brand. We gave it branding, helped with the infrastructure, and it became the Urban Paw Pet Sanctuary, which has now like 40 cats and 34 dogs, all rescued. So it's a beautiful initiative that we try to keep going every year and keep growing. But I will say that there's another one that is our biggest, I guess, partnership, which is Baluarchi. And I'm going to let V talk about that because he has lots of knowledge on it.
Yeah, I mean, like Balashi is one of the nonprofit organizations that is connected to Approach that honestly receives the most attention because it's something that's actually being nurtured in house, and it has also a strong participation of our CEO, who's now one of the main directors of the how do you say, we call the headquarters here in the United States. which is honestly, guys, it's a huge, huge thing. I mean, at first, Balashi opened and they were only in the northeast of Brazil. They expanded to Africa, to countries like Angola and Congo, for example. And a lot of what they were doing there was just simply helping people that really needed the help. And that doesn't just come around like giving them food and something to dress. It comes to giving them a sense of purpose in their lives through religion and also through education, which is something that is so important. And it sometimes, guys, like just giving food is a huge thing. And don't get me wrong, it makes their day better and it gives them life. But what really gives them even more life and makes them kind of like dream, which is also part of living, is by having education and having a different type of sense of purpose where they can use all that knowledge that they're getting, where they can really leverage all the donations that are made to them to really build a better future. And keeping in mind too that countries like Congo and Angola, they have gone through a lot of political crisis, and Congo more specifically had gone through a civil war. So that there's a lot going on in those places. There's a lot also going on in the northeast of Brazil with droughts, um, with communities that are not necessarily receiving the right assistance from the government. So Baluachi comes as this safe haven for these communities, for these people that don't necessarily have someone to take care of them. They become their it's kind of like they say, it's a fortress of resilience. And it's all connected to what we do here at Approach. And that's why it's such an amazing initiative, because we see with our eyes how these kids are changing their lives, and it's really heartwarming to see.
I love that, and that is so well put, V. Like basically, guys, for those that are not well acquainted with Baluachi, more than anything, what it does is it helps impoverished children with education, especially toddlers from toddler age to like sixth grade. Helps with education, helps with meals, clothing, everything that is basic necessities. It usually works with children and mothers of the children. It's been helping hundreds and hundreds of children in all of these countries, and it's close to opening in the U.S. as well, with help of our CEO Michelle Fernandez. So it's something that is ongoing and such a beautiful place to help. You can visit their website at baluarchiworld.org, and we have been working with them for a while, and it is beautiful to see how much they love these children, because the people that are working it, that are like leading this organization, they adore what they're doing. They adore the children, they adore working with them, they adore working for them. It's beautiful to see. It's gorgeous efforts, and it really is changing the lives of so many people. So I think it is worth checking out and taking a look at everything that Baluarchi has to offer, and maybe think about donating, because you could possibly sponsor a meal for the rest of the month to a kid, or sponsor some clothes or something like that.
Yeah, and just remembering, guys, the website is Baluarte, Baluarte, world, WORLD.org. If you go on the website, regardless of what language you speak, it will be translated to your native language or just to English. And there's an option there where you can actually make donations. And it's really easy. You guys can go there literally right now and donate $1, $5, $10. Anything helps. Remember, guys, like right now, dollar is still one of the strongest currencies in the world. So you can buy quite a lot of things with $5. If you give $5 to a family, you might be feeding a family in Angola for a whole week. Who knows? So you know, just putting it out there. Pretty easy to go on their website and to click on the donate button, and yeah, that's how we keep making a difference, at least.
Exactly, exactly. So another thing that we did, another effort that approach was part of, is when the Russo-Ukraine conflict started, when the war started in Ukraine, we decided to offer a scholarship for students affected by the Ukrainian conflict, and it was a it was something that we did like genuinely. We as it happened. we decided that it would be a good idea to offer this because we saw that both um, Russian and Ukrainian students and students that live around there, their bank accounts were frozen. Like their assets were frozen. They weren't able to pay for school. They needed to get out of the space, and we were offering um, even housing. Housing. It was a full scholarship for a year, and we got a few students from Ukraine that actually came to join us, and we helped them with that scholarship. It was a great, honestly, one of my favorite efforts that we've done. What do you think about that one, V?
No, definitely. I mean, like you're saying, it was really focused on whoever was being affected by those conflicts, right? And a lot of times, the people that are being affected by conflicts like this, that are victimized and suffering the real consequences, are people that are mostly against it. And that's the whole thing. It's not being really for one side or the other. It's always about just being for peace, for life. And as an effort to help and support students that had nothing to do with that conflict, we tried to give them scholarships, which we made pretty in a very accessible way. And luckily, yes, we were able to provide opportunities to some of the students that reached out to us, and we also got to see a lot of beautiful stories. So definitely something that made the difference in some students from Ukraine, as well as other students from some other places that were in that territory of conflict.
Agreed, V. And I think that the perfect way to finish off this podcast, guys, because I wish I could show you everything. We have so many different efforts, and I would encourage you all to go see our community's page on our website. We're just having a bit of technical difficulties in terms of showing you, but definitely go check it out. The communities we support, and you're welcome to donate there and find access to even to the Baluarchi, for example. You can access the website through our website. Um, but the last thing I wanted to bring up is even our own students, they come up with different ways of inspiring community, of giving community service, of giving back to their community one way or another. And that is beautiful to see. We actually didn't we just have a recent example of that, V?
Yes, like for example, like I guess like one of the best ways to explain that is like approach, just like a lot of people here that are seeing opportunities. Approach has been on the place of like looking for those opportunities, and now approach is still giving out opportunities, and these opportunities will come in different ways. For example, as a language center, we do offer students the possibility of opening their own student clubs, so they can actually advocate and build their communities and talk about the things that they're actually passionate about. And one of the best things that came out of this is like a new club called Love in Action, which is pretty much focused on, receiving donations of clothes, shoes, anything, any sort of accessory that would help someone in need, right? And by receiving those donations and passing those donations to people that need, being immigrants or not, that just arrived in the United States, or people in the countryside of Brazil. These people are building a community of resilience and of others that are able to really pass on the example and keep the work going. I think that's one of the most interesting things, because you're giving them an opportunity to build something from scratch, and by that they learn how to build something, and by building that and building and passing on to others, they will start making even more of a difference. And I guess it's like you're turning each person into a tool to make the difference. I think that's really interesting. But yes, we're talking about the student clubs, and the student club that I'm talking about is Love in Action. It's by Giovanna Bronson. She's been doing that type of charity work for quite a while, and she's one of our student ambassadors. If you guys don't know, the student ambassadors meetings, they happen every Saturday. You got to apply for it, and that's something that we can cover in another podcast. But she was a part of those meetings. She talked about her story, and then she talked to us, and she was so passionate about it. She really, really wanted to help even more than what she was doing. And it's like she said, it's sometimes you're helping people, but you feel like you're the one actually being helped, and that's one of the greatest feelings, guys. So I guess talking about community service, that's the best way to wrap up this conversation, huh?
I completely agree, guys. And so, and actually, I just was hearing a podcast where this very famous spiritualist said, His name is Deepak Chopra, and he said, the best way to find happiness is to find happiness for others, is to make others happy. That's what he said. And I love that. And that is exactly what Giovanna's doing as well. And if you're a student at Approach and you want to be part of the Love in Action Club, wait a bit. We'll be announcing, and you'll be able to join the club and give donations. And then, if you want to create your own club for community service or any other reason, we'll cover that in another podcast. But you're welcome to, and we'll be giving out more information for all Approach students on that. So, thank you so much, V. This was a great podcast. As you guys know, we love giving back to the community. And if you guys have any questions on who to give back, where to give back, how to give back, we're always here to answer those questions. You can leave comments on our YouTube channel. You can send us a DM on Instagram, and anything of that sort, we'll be happy to answer. Okay? And don't forget to take a look at the free English conversation class if you haven't. And if you don't know English or would like to learn a bit more, you're welcome to take a look over there. So, any last words for you, V?
No, just grateful to be talking about this, and I hope that whoever is listening to this podcast, please make sure to check out these free resources that we're talking about. Spread the word, help other people, and check out Balashi. Donate $5, $10, whatever you want, and just know that every small donation, every little act of kindness makes can make a huge difference in anyone's life. So, yeah, glad to be talking about it.
That is completely true, and I love that. I love how we put it. Every small of kindness, every small act of kindness can make a complete difference in someone's life, guys. So remember that. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning into Approaching Your Future with your host, Dana and Victor, where we discuss different cultural aspects of life in the United States. So we'll be back next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. And make sure to follow us on Instagram, approach_USA, to keep up with all the latest updates, community service efforts, and all of that sort. So thank you so much.